Hey there. Welcome back to Cities in a Blink, where we uncover the stories behind the world's cities, one blink at a time. Today, we're exploring how Copenhagen became the capital city of Denmark. Have you ever looked at Denmark and noticed how it sits like a gate between worlds? On the eastern shore of Zealand, Copenhagen faces the waters that lead into the Baltic, the kind of location that doesn't just invite trade. It forces strategy, and even the name points to the job, often explained as Merchant's Harbor, which is basically Copenhagen introducing itself in one sentence: I am here to connect, to trade, and to control what moves through. Now, here's the twist. Copenhagen wasn't destined to be Denmark's center from day one. It had competition. Older cities already had status, especially Roskilde, a major religious and royal hub nearby. So the real question isn't, why did Copenhagen grow? It's, when did Copenhagen stop being a harbor and start becoming the country's control room? That turning point starts with one very medieval idea. If a place is valuable, you fortify it. A small settlement existed here by the early Middle Ages, but Copenhagen's rise truly accelerated in 1167, when Bishop Absalon of Roskilde builds a fortress on the islet of Slotsholmen. And that single act changes the city's future. Because a fortress isn't just protection, it's a signal. It tells merchants, rivals, and kings, this harbor matters enough to defend. From there, Copenhagen grows the way port cities do: fast, practical, and hungry. Commerce expands and the Baltic fisheries help generate real wealth, the kind that builds warehouses, ships, networks, and influence. Copenhagen becomes the place where goods move, money collects, and decisions start to orbit. But being rich doesn't automatically make you a capital. Plenty of cities are wealthy. What makes a capital is something more specific: a ruler deciding that this is where power should live. And in Denmark, that decisive shift comes in the early 1400s. Around 1416 to 1417, Eric of Pomerania makes Copenhagen a royal possession and moves his seat to Copenhagen Castle. And this is not a ceremonial nice view decision. This is a strategic upgrade. Because choosing Copenhagen means choosing a city that can project power by sea. It means putting your center of gravity on a coastline that faces the Baltic routes where ships, trade, rival interests, and regional politics all intersect. It's the difference between governing from a respected inland hub and governing from the hinge of the region. From this point onward, Copenhagen starts doing what capitals do. It accumulates institutions. And once a city starts accumulating institutions, it gets hard to stop. During the broader Nordic dynamics of the Kalmar Union era, Copenhagen increasingly functions as the practical political center in a complicated Scandinavian power system. And from the 16th century onward, becomes the institutional core of Danish state building, administration expanding, the merchant elite rising, finance concentrating, and the monarchy's machinery settling in. You can almost watch the capital logic build itself in layers. Fortress 2, royal seat 2, administration, to economic dominance, to national center. And here's the part that makes Copenhagen feel inevitable. Once those layers stack up, capital status becomes self-reinforcing. Even when crisis hits, wars, shifting European rivalries, the pressures of great power politics, Copenhagen's role doesn't dissolve. Because by then, Copenhagen isn't just a city, it's where the state keeps its tools: bureaucracy, finance, command, coordination. At that point, replacing it would mean rebuilding the country's operating system somewhere else. And nations rarely do that unless they're forced. So today, Copenhagen remains Denmark's political heart, home to government, culture, and a global-facing economy. But its story isn't just a city that succeeded, it's a case study in how geography turns into power, how a well-positioned harbor becomes a fortress, how a fortress attracts trade, how trade attracts institutions, and how institutions lock in a capital. So why Copenhagen? Other Danish cities held power at different moments, but only Copenhagen combined maritime geography. Early fortification under Absalon, and that decisive royal move in the early 1400s that centralized authority in one place. Once the monarchy, trade, and institutions aligned here, Copenhagen became the obvious and enduring choice as Denmark's capital. If you love discovering cities and the stories behind them, hit that subscribe button and join us for more adventures. Next up, we're heading to Warsaw, a capital shaped by elective monarchy, partitions, destruction, and extraordinary national resilience. Thanks for watching Cities in a Blink, where stories of cities come alive, one blink at a time.